Tonight on CTV News, a Lapu-Lapu attack victim's frustration and anger.
The people who donated to these agencies thought that it would go directly to the victims.
His mother was killed and he was injured. Questions about why he hasn't received a penny of the millions donated to United Way.
I'm very hopeful.
There's a lot of criminal activity going on in this camp, and it's actually very dangerous when the lights go out.
Growing calls for the province to clear out homeless camps in the Fraser Valley after one was the scene of a murder. And hit and run. Police are looking for the truck driver who struck an overpass on Highway 1. How many times trucks have not cleared this concrete?
This is CTV News with Mi Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A young man who lost his mom in the Lapu-Lapu Day attack last April is speaking out tonight. The violence also left him with life-changing injuries. As he continues to heal, he's also angry about how public donations were distributed. Despite the outpouring of support, he hasn't received any of the money collected by the United Way. CTV's Shannon Patterson has this exclusive report.
11 months ago, Helgi Bjarnason's mom, Vicky, was killed in the Lapu-Lapu Day attack.
I hear her voice sometimes when I'm feeling down. Just what a mom would say to their kid who's struggling.
Bjarnason was also struck by the speeding vehicle, left with a badly broken leg that hasn't fully healed.
I'm at that point where I'm starting to accept that it will never be the same again.
The 27-year-old hasn't returned to his job as an occupational therapist.
The GoFundMe is the only reason I get to live a little normally and not struggle for my day-to-day expenses.
Bjarnason and other Lapu-Lapu victims thought they'd received money from the United Way's Kapwa Strong Fund, which raised nearly $2 million from the public to support those impacted by the attack.
The people who donated to these agencies thought that it would go directly to the victims, but it has not. None of the victims have received this almost $2 million.
Instead, the United Way distributed the funds to other nonprofit organizations.
We are not best set up to support financial contributions to people. We don't have the information. We don't have the skill set to identify what kinds of compensation that would look like. Our role is to support, and the way in which we support is through those caring, trusted nonprofit organizations who are providing support to people who were impacted.
A couple of foundations just messaged me saying if I need any help for therapy, for this and that. I'm like, no. Just distribute the money to the families. Most of us are struggling with groceries, rent, gas, day-to-day expenses.
Lapu-Lapu victims won't be seeing any of the money directly. The last $100,000 of the Kapwa Strong Fund was distributed to a nonprofit this week.
I'm lucky I get to walk, I get to go outside and stuff, but that's not the case for the other victims. And I'm not speaking here just for myself, but for all the people who were affected by Lapu-Lapu.
With the anniversary of the attack now just a month away,
it's scary to think that, oh my God, it's this time of year again. The PTSD has not gone better. I don't want to go to any memorial. I don't want to remember it. I just want to be with family and be there for each other.
They'll gather to remember a loving mom who spent her last moments at a festival with her son, a young man still healing and still grieving. Shannon Patterson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Turning now to the search for a killer. Police are trying to find the person who murdered a man in a homeless camp in Abbotsford. And now there are growing questions about why so many camps exist in that community, including one that was supposed to have been shut down nearly 6 months ago. CTV's Michelle Bernaro has more.
Investigators were back at the Whatcom Road encampment Wednesday gathering evidence in the killing of a 69-year-old man who lived there. An advocate for the homeless says he's not surprised by the most recent violence.
There's a lot of criminal activity going on in this camp, and it's actually very dangerous when the lights go out and it's dark out.
He says the province's growing homeless crisis can only be solved with more detox and treatment facilities.
BC Housing's model is housing first. They don't deal with the addiction.
Across the board, we have far too few services for people with complex needs south of the Fraser.
The Whatcom Encampment is one of 4 sitting on provincial lands in Abbotsford. Further east is the Cole Road rest area, filled with RVs, many vacant, but campers say about 18 people still live there.
I don't have any money to go anywhere, right? It's hard to look for something when you don't have damage deposit and a job.
The Cole Road rest area was actually shut down last November. Campers were given notice then, but that date has been pushed back several times. Campers are now being told they need to be out by April 1st.
The notice from the Transportation Ministry also says steps will be taken to remove occupants and items still there on April 7th.
Every time they say we're getting kicked out, it's I can't do anything, right? I'm stressed out.
The ministry says the rest area is being shut down after ongoing issues including vandalism and concerns for public safety, and that it's taken a phased approach working with outreach teams to help people find housing. Glenn Henderson says as the deadline nears, he's been offered some alternate housing options. Meanwhile, the city says that while it does not have authority on provincial lands, it has been facilitating cleanups, including at Whatcom last week, where 15,000 pounds of trash were taken out.
It's like living in a garbage dump, and we shouldn't be allowing people to live in those types of inhumane conditions.
The Housing and Health Ministries say they know more needs to be done for vulnerable people, but that the province is providing support and shelter for people, and that Abbotsford has more than 300 supportive homes open or underway. Michelle Bernoro, CTV News, Abbotsford.
Gas prices dropped about 9 cents a litre today, but the ongoing turmoil in the Middle East means the price at the pump is still above $2 a litre in Metro Vancouver, and the seesaw ride will continue. Prices will likely edge back up tomorrow, but after that, we could see them drop again, especially if a formal agreement or ceasefire is announced. The average price of regular gas is sitting at $205.9 a litre in Vancouver. It comes after Donald Trump's comments on a potential ceasefire, but the Strait of Hormuz, a critical choke point for global oil and natural gas movement, is still closed.
You won't go back to $1.65. You might be going back to $1.72, but we still have a lot of room to go, another 25 to 30 cents a litre before we get there. But if there is some kind of formal agreement between the 15 points that have been presented by Trump to the Iranian regime and they're accepted, look for prices to plummet, and it will plummet rather dramatically, almost as quickly as they went up.
He adds, despite the small increase tomorrow, prices will fall by 7 cents a litre Friday and could go down even further by the weekend. The cost of transit in Metro Vancouver is about to rise. Translink has approved a 5% fare hike starting July 1st. Adult fares will rise by up to 25 cents, so commuters will have to pay between $3.50 and $6.70 depending on the zone. Monthly passes will range from about $117 to $211. Translink already increased fares by 4% last year, but says annual hikes will be closer to 2% starting in 2027. A new pipeline from Alberta to BC's coast is inching closer to reality. The federal energy minister says he's confident it will be built, and Alberta has met another condition for possible approval. CTV's Martin McMahon has more.
We're confident we're going to get there.
That's Federal Energy Minister Tim Hodgson responding to a question on a new West Coast pipeline. The comments come with Alberta Premier Danielle Smith pushing for a pipeline through BC and looking for private sector energy partners to build it.
We have a series of discussions going on about another 1 million barrel pipeline to the West Coast, and we're heads down working on that.
But BC's energy minister insists the business case isn't there.
Well, it's still government's talking about it. There's no proponent. And there's no one who will pay for this, because you pay for pipelines by agreements with people who want to ship oil on those pipelines. And the cost of that would be so prohibitive, it doesn't make economic sense.
Bloomberg asked Enbridge's chief executive about the company getting involved in a hypothetical West Coast pipeline.
Well, I wouldn't say a hard no. What I would say is the conditions don't yet exist for that pipeline to be built. If my customers get the green light to produce, Enbridge is the largest mover of oil in North America, is going to be there.
As the pipeline discussion ramps up, environmental groups are weighing in on Hodgson's comments.
I mean, they're frustrating and they're fascinating. There has been no easy road to building a large capacity pipeline in Canada in recent memory. The only one that successfully got across the line was the Trans Mountain expansion, which of course only got there because the federal government purchased it, took on the cost, took on the debt.
Today, Ottawa announced an agreement in principle with Alberta on methane emissions reductions. It's one of the federal requirements as part of the process to build a hypothetical new pipeline. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
The driver of a car carrier strikes an overpass on Highway 1, a rail bridge that's been hit more than a dozen times in just the last few years alone. That story in just a moment. But first, let's go outside from Grouse Mountain. There's some fresh snow and blue sky in the distance. Looks pretty up there.
Yeah, very nice for the spring breakers who are hitting the slopes. Not sure how good the snow is, but a beautiful shot indeed. Here's a look at temperatures across the Lower Mainland right now. 8 degrees at the Harbour, 9 degrees in Burnaby, 10 in North Vancouver right now. And you're looking at 7 degrees in Surrey, a touch cooler there. As we head through the overnight, we'll see overcast skies dipping down to 2. And then tomorrow will be unsettled. For the most part, mostly cloudy skies. We will see a few scattered showers here and there, but not a complete washout whatsoever. And we'll see a high of 9.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Plan, book, and safeguard your journeys. Explore the possibilities at expediacruises.ca.
So just a few sprinkles tomorrow and then a dry weekend ahead. I've got those details coming up.
But it does get a bit chilly in the morning, doesn't it?
Yes, just hovering around that freezing mark.
All right, thanks, Anne. Police are looking for the driver of an auto transport trailer who didn't stay on scene after striking an overpass in Langley. The same overpass has been hit several times over the past few years, and police say these preventable collisions are still happening far too often. CTV's Ben Nesbitt has the story.
Headed westbound on Highway 1, this car carrier struck a rail overpass just before 4 p.m. Tuesday, according to police. They say the driver also did not stick around.
It's early in this investigation. Until we locate the truck and the contents of that trailer, we can't sort out exactly how much damage was done.
That same rail bridge between Glover Road and 232 Street has been struck more than a dozen times since 2023, including just last week. Police say any driver involved in a crash that may have caused property damage is required to report it and are asking the driver to get in touch with highway patrol officers.
Potentially, there are Motor Vehicle Act offenses that could come from this. In extreme scenarios, there are also criminal code charges that can come from failing to remain at the scene of an accident or a collision.
A new overheight detection system is being installed on Highway 1 at Number 3 Road in Chilliwack to help cut down on these types of incidents. Highway Patrol says overall, overpass strikes remain a serious issue.
This obviously presents a danger to the public, and it's completely preventable. You just need to measure your load and follow the law.
Anyone who witnessed Tuesday's collision or who has video footage of it is asked to contact police. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Langley.
The cost of renting a home in Metro Vancouver continues to decline. A new report has found that the average rent for an unfurnished one-bedroom unit has gone down by nearly 11% year over year, which is about $245. The biggest drops were recorded in downtown Vancouver and the West End. West Point Grey and UBC continue to have the highest rental rates in the region, averaging about $2,800 for a one-bedroom. You can get the most for your money in Surrey and the Fraser Valley, where a one-bed in Newton averaged just under $1,500 a month. The Prime Minister weighs in on the controversy around the Air Canada boss only expressing condolences in English. Also ahead.
This could put the recreational angling in British Columbia for Chinook and coho on its knees.
Navigating a potential storm, pushback to possible changes on how much recreational fishers can catch. When CTV News at 6 continues. Stay with us. For the first time in more than 25 years, Ottawa is reviewing its salmon allocation policy after a landmark court ruling. Now, some are warning the changes could hit BC's fishing tourism industry hard. CTV's Kevin Chirac has more.
Fishing guide Dean Work is preparing for new rules on catching salmon.
That's a really big concern.
The Department of Fisheries and Oceans is reviewing its salmon allocation policy, following a 2018 court ruling that found the policy unlawfully prioritized recreational fishing over First Nations fishing rights. Changes being considered could shift priority for Chinook and coho salmon toward First Nations rights-based fisheries, though no changes are currently in effect.
So what that creates is immense uncertainty within people wanting to book lodges, book a salmon trip, and typically the two most harvested fish, both tidal and inland and wanted for people to eat, typically is coho and Chinook.
Work recently traveled to Ottawa to campaign for the industry, meeting with government officials, including Conservative MP and fisheries critic Mel Arnold.
There's $1.3 billion to the provincial economy through recreational fishery that could, a good chunk of that could be at risk.
First Nations leaders say the review is about bringing federal policy in line with the law.
These are constitutional rights that we have.
Judith Sayers says recreational fishing is not being cut out and believes there's enough fish to go around.
Well, the recreation fishery are trying to say that they're being cut out, and it's not true. They still have a right in the fishery. They have, not a right, but they have a privilege in the fishery. It's just a matter of how that allocation is divided up by DFO.
Back on the water, Work says the industry could be heading into rocky waters.
This could put the recreational angling in British Columbia for Chinook and coho on its knees.
The DFO declined an interview request, saying the review is ongoing, and Fisheries Minister Joanne Thompson did not respond to our request for comment by deadline. Kevin Chirac, CTV News, Chilliwack.
Old age security payments are under the microscope as Canada's deficit grows. A UBC professor is now calling on Ottawa to adjust the threshold in the hopes it can save the country billions of dollars. CTV's Craig Krause reports.
A UBC professor may have a tool to chip away at Canada's projected $78 billion deficit.
When OAS is just so much bigger than everything else, we have to go and then say maybe this is a place to find savings right now.
Old age security, something Paul Kershaw says could save the country billions if adjusted.
Does it make sense to send these large $18,000 subsidies to retired couples that have six-figure incomes when we're struggling to maintain other programs?
Right now, retired couples with an income of $185,000 can receive the full annual subsidy, leading Kershaw and Research Co. to put out a poll to see what Canadians think about it. And what they found was three-quarters support OAS being reduced below $100,000, including 3 in 4 who are retirement age.
I think that you could cut it off after a certain wage level.
My income was higher, and so I did feel like I needed it. So I declined it.
The data shows changes to OAS is bipartisan. Roughly 8 in 10 Liberal, Conservative, and NDP voters told Research Co. they are in favor of making OAS responsible, modern, and fair. You find Canadians who were against any sort of adjustment?
Very low. It's about 10%.
Their research also found a majority would go further, supporting a phase-out of OAS benefits beginning at or below $81,000, the same number as the Canada Child Care benefit. Kershaw says that this would save Canada nearly $13 billion annually.
That's a huge amount of savings.
The Department of Finance won't say if it's making adjustments, instead saying it will continue advancing its affordability agenda to ensure seniors have the support they need. In the meantime, Kershaw will remain vocal.
I'd love to be part of a legacy that eliminated seniors' poverty and helped millennials and Gen Z, have an easier time with the really substantial affordability challenges they've inherited.
Craig Crowe, CTV News, Vancouver.
A possible peace deal between the U.S. and Iran has unraveled. Iran unleashes more attacks on Israel. Also ahead.
Our deepest condolences go out to the entire jazz community.
The Air Canada boss under fire for not offering condolences on the New York crash in French. Now the Prime Minister is weighing in on this PR embarrassment. That's ahead. Of Air Canada has been summoned to appear before a parliamentary committee. It comes after he released a message updating Canadians on Sunday's crash at LaGuardia Airport. But as CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver explains, that message included only 2 words in French.
Hello, bonjour.
That was one of 2 French words spoken by Michael Rousseau in a nearly 4-minute video updating Canadians on the LaGuardia crash.
Somber day.
A unilingual message the Prime Minister said showed a lack of compassion and judgment.
We proudly live in a bilingual country. And companies like Air Canada particularly have a responsibility to always communicate in both official languages regardless of the situation. I'm very disappointed, as others are.
In a statement, Air Canada says its CEO wanted to address everyone affected and that French subtitles were used. Despite his efforts, his ability to express himself in French does not allow him to convey such a sensitive message in that language as he would wish. A decision that isn't sitting well with members of the House Official Languages Committee, who summoned Rousseau to appear by May 1st.
Unacceptable, because it's repeat the situation.
In 2021, Rousseau committed to learning French after an English-only speech before Montreal's Chamber of Commerce prompted protests and calls for his resignation, a situation that brought Rousseau before the same parliamentary committee.
I admit I made a mistake by not learning to speak French when I joined Air Canada.
Quebec's premier wants Rousseau to resign. If he still doesn't speak French today, it's a lack of respect. Experts question why Rousseau didn't try to read some prepared remarks in French.
It's non-ideal communications. It was a communications goof. But is it a PR disaster that will have lasting impact on the brand? I don't think so.
Air Canada is subject to the Official Languages Act, and so far the Office of the Commissioner of Official Languages has received more than 790 complaints. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Iran has launched new attacks against Israel and its own Persian Gulf neighbors after rejecting a U.S. ceasefire proposal to pause the war in the Middle East. Iran launched at least 5 strikes on Israel today, narrowly missing a major power plant. And in Iraq, an Iranian attack on a military base killed 7 fighters and wounded 13. Iran also launched a drone attack on Kuwait, sparking a huge fire at its international airport. It all comes after Tehran rejected a 15-point peace plan, prompting threats of escalation from the White House.
The president's preference is always peace. There does not need to be any more death and destruction. But if Iran fails to accept the reality of the current moment, if they fail to understand that they have been defeated militarily and will continue to be, President Trump will ensure they are hit harder than they have ever been hit before.
Iran has made its own demands, which includes calls for no limits on its missile program and the closure of all American bases in the Gulf. A new way for some BC residents to access their health records. And we have an update on the border cat that hops back and forth between Canada and the U.S. Residents in the area are being very protective of this border-hopping feline. That's ahead.
Time now for tonight's Skywatch. Blue skies and sunshine above Science World and False Creek. Another gorgeous but chilly day on the South Coast.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
We have an update now on Louie, the Canadian cat who has a habit of jumping the border and landing in the United States. Neighbors on Zero Avenue have put up a sign reminding drivers this is Louie's turf and they need to slow down so he can cross safely. One side is South Surrey, the other is Blaine, and nobody is supposed to cross over, but Louie just doesn't care and ignores border guards and surveillance cameras by making illegal trips over the international line almost daily. His feline feats are now so famous, Louie has become an internet superstar. The man behind that sign and the figurine holding it is becoming well known himself. From skiers to musicians to Vikings, he has created an entire army of wooden creatures that live in a secret forest in his backyard. CTV's St. Alexander has the story.
Officially a workshop, but Bob Christie calls it the play zone.
Okay, I'll give a nice big smile.
Where buckets of wood pieces.
I'm just looking for a nose.
No two alike, but every one a gem.
We'll grab a set of eyeballs here. Try these eyeballs.
Bond to become stumpies.
I just have stumps or pieces of wood that I glue and screw together. That's it.
Far from it, they are now avid ski bums at the Triple Black Diamond Resort, adoring crowds and daredevils brought to life by what's been thrown to the ground.
Windstorms blow down, I pick stuff up and make these guys.
All of it inspired decades ago by a figurine Christy spotted on a vending machine.
It just burnt into my brain, this little wooden guy. Yeah. And I think I went, man, I could build one of those, I think.
Well, he proved himself right during the pandemic, creating a cast of hundreds, at first taking center stage in what he calls the secret garden.
It started just, okay, let's do different characters and let's make something else. Let's make a band.
The lead guitar player and his girlfriend, watched over by the stage manager. None of them with names because it just got too confusing, but each unquestionably with their own personalities. Now, his wife is wondering who's moving in next, and his kids, well, they're not so sure what's going on with Dad.
Well, because I put them around the yard, and it's kind of like, it's not, you don't do that.
For the most part, Christy doesn't sell any of his gang. They are his heart and soul, and has no plans to stop the village from growing.
I don't think I'll ever stop. As long as there's trees that blow down, I'm making stumpies.
As he puts it, throw on a set of eyes and a mouth, and it makes you smile. St. John Alexander, CTV News, Surrey.
I love them.
Those are so good.
I'm so sad that he doesn't sell them because I would totally get a couple.
And I have some of those little, stumpy edges. I use them as coasters.
Oh.
So well, not as creative as him.
You just need a bigger one and then just make them as eyes and you've got your own little stumpy.
That's true, yeah. And I'm inspired by his creativity.
I can't wait to see your garden next. All right, let's take a look at our forecast. Things cleared up quite nicely. We're looking at blue skies and sunshine across the lower mainland right now, but it'll stay unsettled with this surface low offshore. As you can see, we will still see a few pockets of showers as we head into tomorrow, but for the most part, it'll stay dry. Here is a look at our weather tracker right now. We're seeing a mix of sun and cloud. Clears up through the overnight into tomorrow morning. We'll start off with a sunny early morning commute. A few clouds roll in through the afternoon, and as you see in green there, a few scattered showers as well. We will see mostly cloudy skies heading into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. So by 9 o'clock tonight, we will see a few clouds, mostly clear by midnight, a mix of sun and cloud, and 3 degrees at 8 o'clock. And then it does cloud over with a slight chance of a shower around noon. Cloudy skies expected for 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock with a high of 9 degrees tomorrow. For the southern interior, you're looking at mostly sunny skies. Your provincial forecast popping up at the bottom of your screen. Hopefully 7 degrees for Port Hardy with periods of rain. We're looking at showers for Campbell River and Comox with a high of 9 degrees. For the South Island, it'll be soggy for Tofino, 8 degrees. Showers for Port Alberni and Nanaimo. Look at the Southern Gulf Islands and Victoria. You'll see a mix of sun and cloud with temperatures between 11 and 12. Unsettled for the Sunshine Coast, a few showers and a few breaks, and 6 degrees. Showers up the Sea to Sky Highway for Squamish at 7. Flurries for Whistler, 2 degrees. And frost across the lower mainland. For the most part, mostly cloudy skies. A few scattered showers here and there with temperatures between 9 and 10 degrees. And then sunny breaks for Friday and Saturday. Cloudy skies for Sunday. Clearing up quite nicely for Monday and Tuesday. Heading into Wednesday, we will see cloudy skies with a few showers and a high of 10. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So not a bad way to finish off March at all.
Yeah, for all those spring breakers this week, definitely an improvement from last week.
Exactly.
So they can enjoy that before they head back to school. All right, thanks, Anne. We'll introduce you to some furry friends looking for a family to call their own. This week's Homeward Bound is coming up, and
it's of very great importance to a generation of people.
Taking on big tech for social media addiction, a jury finds Meta and YouTube negligent for harming a young woman's mental health. What this case could mean, that's coming up. Taking a look at today's markets, a Canadian dollar traded for 72 cents to the American dollar. Oil down $2.03, closing the day at 92.32 cents. Gold gained more than $150 on the day. The TSX and the Dow Jones both finished the day higher, up 441 points and 305 points respectively. Harbour Air is launching 3 new routes in what the airline is calling its largest seasonal expansion ever. Service between Vancouver and Ucluelet will begin on June 25th, and a new route linking Vancouver and Campbell River launches July 6th. The airline is also introducing its first Victoria-Seattle service on June 11th, while the popular Vancouver-Seattle route is returning April 13th. Harbour Air says the expansion will strengthen its network and give coastal BC travelers more ways to explore the region. A new digital health portal has been launched to help some BC residents access their patient records. Access My Health will be available to patients in Vancouver Coastal Health, Providence Healthcare, and the PHSA, which includes organizations like BC Cancer. The portal will include notes from care teams and lab results and will allow patients to view their upcoming appointments and procedure history. Eligible residents can register using their BC Services card account. A landmark ruling against big tech took place in Los Angeles today in a social media addiction trial that lasted nearly 5 weeks. This is just the first in a wave of litigation that could lead to major changes for the industry. ABC's Jacqueline Lee has more on the verdict.
A jury today finding social media platforms Meta and YouTube liable for causing harm to children using their platforms. The landmark Los Angeles trial garnered national attention. The plaintiff in the case, a 20-year-old woman identified as Kaylee, testified, describing what she calls addiction to social media that began after she started watching YouTube when she was 6 years old, telling jurors she now suffers from anxiety, depression, and body dysmorphia. Because I spent all my time on my phone, it affected how I saw myself, Kaylee told jurors. Her testimony last month came 1 week after Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, spent nearly 8 hours on the stand defending accusations Meta set goals to increase the time users spent on the apps. Zuckerberg testifying, "I think I've been clear that we used to have goals on this, and then we changed that." During his testimony, Zuckerberg defending Instagram's account settings aimed at protecting teens on the platform. The reaction today outside court.
This message is one that's important to Kaylee and her family, but it's of very great importance to a generation of people who have been affected.
Before the trial, both Meta and YouTube denying the allegations. In a statement to ABC News, a Meta spokesperson saying, "We respectfully disagree with the verdict and are evaluating our legal options." Google, the parent company of YouTube, saying they will appeal, saying this case misunderstands YouTube, which is a responsibly built streaming platform, not a social media site. And this is just the first in what is likely to be a wave of litigation nationwide, with parents and online safety advocates demanding change.
Social media companies TikTok and Snap were also named defendants in the lawsuit, but settled prior to trial. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The Vancouver International Auto Show is back at the Convention Centre with more than 30 automakers showcasing over 200 vehicles. Car enthusiasts will have the chance to explore new releases, innovative tech, and the latest in automotive design throughout the exhibition halls and outside at Jackpool Plaza. 3 vehicles will be making their Canadian debut at the show, including Cadillac's Formula One display car and hypercars by Chevrolet and Oil Stain Lab. And a test drive experience will feature up to 50 electric and hybrid vehicles. The event runs from today through Sunday. The Canucks lost yet another home game last night, but at least fans got to see a fun back-and-forth game against Anaheim.
I just like the way we stuck with it and we pushed real hard.
Are the Ducks a team the Canucks could emulate in rebuild, or should they look to the Habs, who were the league's cellar dwellers just a few years ago? The Ringside Report is next. Plus, from diver to dispatch, Adam finds out how a Courtney woman taught big celebrities before supporting first responders. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Right now, here's a preview of your morning, Vancouver.
Are extortion cases in the Lower Mainland on the decline? Thursday on Your Morning Vancouver, we'll learn about a tactic that could be intercepting those who are most vulnerable to a life of crime. Also, we'll learn more about a movement to save the Whitecaps, why a former player is leading the fight to keep the team in Vancouver. Plus, start your engines. We'll take you live to the auto show at the Vancouver Convention Centre. We'll see you in the morning.
Ringside Report, brought to you by
CapitalDirect.ca. For your best financial health, choose FlexiLine Fitness from Capital Direct. Call us today.
It was only a matter of time, but the Canucks are the first team to be officially eliminated from playoff contention. Despite a much better effort last night, they lost yet another home game, leaving many fans dreaming of a brighter future. CTV's Ben Milger looks at the key elements for a successful rebuild in this week's Ringside Report.
With an assist on this power play goal in the second period Tuesday night, Elias Pettersson collected his 500th National Hockey League point in just his 533rd game. The Mercurial star didn't have much to say about the achievement.
No, it's cool. Cool numbers to hit, and yeah, very honored.
It was the lone bright spot on a night when the Canucks fell 5-3 to the Anaheim Ducks. The NHL cellar dwellers still have just 8 home wins on the season. The team was back on the ice at Rogers Arena Wednesday morning to prep for a Thursday showdown with the Los Angeles Kings. Head coach Adam Foote working with the team's young players during practice, making sure a lost season in the standings doesn't drag down the effort on the ice.
We want to win every game, whether we're going to be in the playoffs or we're not in the playoffs, and prepping for, our jobs to win every night, but also, we want to play the right way and keep getting better for the start of next season.
The Canucks will enter next season in full-scale rebuild mode for the first time in a generation. It's not going to be a quick or simple task. If the Canucks need an example of how to do it right, they can look east to Montreal, where the Canadiens play an exciting brand of hockey and appear poised to make the playoffs 4 years removed from finishing last overall.
They've drafted really well, they've developed well, but they've also added pieces through trades, and I think that's sort of the blueprint that you have to look at.
Vancouver fans are about to find out if Canucks brass have what it takes to pull off a similar turnaround, and perhaps more importantly, whether ownership will give them the time to do it.
It's going to take a while, and I think that's the question is, do the Canucks have the patience necessary to do a rebuild properly?
Long-suffering Canucks fans sure hope so. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
The Ringside Report, brought to you by Capital Direct.
CapitalDirect.ca.
An Australian dog hailed as a prolific hero is hanging up his collar. This is Bear, an 11-year-old Australian coolie. He's now retiring after a decade of service. He's credited with saving over 100 koalas from wildfires. He was one of the first dogs to be trained on the scent of koala fur to help protect the country's iconic animals as wildfires threaten their population. Bear's handlers say he will retire to a life of belly rubs and playing fetch. He worked hard. He deserves a break. Okay, an animal rescue society in northern BC is sharing a successful rescue story this morning of a tiny bear cub saved near Kamloops. The cub was first discovered by locals near Heffley Lake on Sunday. After observing overnight, they noticed the cub had become unresponsive and cold and called the Northern Lights Wildlife Society. The hypothermic animal was then rushed to a vet in Kamloops and placed in an incubator to warm up. The Wildlife Society says it will now care for the cub, a 3-pound male, until June 2027.
Oh,
very tiny,
yeah.
Only 3 pounds.
He's going to be a lot bigger in June 2027.
Yeah. And hopefully fully on the move.
Yes.
Yeah, must almost be like a newborn. Very cute, though. Okay. It's time for Homeward Bound, our weekly segment where we introduce you to furry friends from local rescues who are looking for their forever home.
That's right. And here are some cats from the Vancouver Orphan Kitten Rescue Association, also known as VOCRA.
Well, meet Tobias. This 2-year-old feline is a total lap cat. He loves cuddles, head pets, and he's very food motivated. I can relate to that. Tobias also loves to play, especially by chasing ribbons and wand toys. He would do best in a home where someone is around often to give him lots of attention and affection. That's a cute pose, isn't it?
Little snuggle bug.
Well, take a look at this little guy. 5-year-old Toaster, also known as Toasty, is a sweet and gentle girl who loves cozy nights in. She's especially affectionate in the evenings. By day, Toasty is playful and curious, always exploring and keeping watch. Well-mannered and easygoing, she's ready to find her perfect match.
I wonder if she's a little heater beside you.
Yeah, I think so.
Toasty. Well, this is 4-year-old Rumi. She is a sweet, affectionate, playful guy, looking for a calm and quiet home. He enjoys window watching from his cat tree. We all like looking out, don't we? And playing with his toys. Rumi is happy as a solo cat and loves to soak up all the attention, so he would thrive in a home where someone is around a lot to keep him company. He has to share all the details of what he's seen outside.
Very cute. Okay, for more information, head to vocra.ca. We'll get to the Sawatsky sign-off in just a minute. First, Lauren's here with a look ahead to the airline news.
Well, Mijang, there is major pushback tonight from more than 100 First Nations leaders over amendments to the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples Act, or DRIPA. They are calling on Premier Eby to hold up the act as is, and this renewed push comes after a confidential letter sent to some First Nations leaders outlined BC's proposed plan to weaken the legislation. We have more on the reaction and the growing opposition ahead at 11:30.
Great, thanks a lot, Lauren. Well, she has set records underwater, worked on movie projects, and even taught a thing or two to Tom Cruise. Then motherhood and the pandemic hit, and that inspired a BC Freediver to dive back into the job market. Adam explains in tonight's Encore Sawatsky sign-off.
For as long as Mandy Ray Kroc can recall, the water has inspired wonder.
I just absolutely loved being underwater.
Although she grew up nowhere near the ocean, the discovery of a school library book about scuba diving was a life changer.
I'm like, there you go. I'm going to be a dive instructor.
After graduating, Mandy moved to the West Coast to teach before being introduced to free diving.
And it clicked, and animals approach you more readily. The world opened up.
And thanks to a competitive spirit, strong work ethic, and innate talent, Mandy ended up setting more than 7 world records, free diving down 136 meters. That's deeper than the height of a 43-story building.
And you're like, wow, I'm at world record depth. And then you're like, okay, got to get up. And you snap back to reality and you start making your way back up because you're only halfway there.
Mandy's accomplishments under the sea led her to work on multiple movie projects up on the screen, like playing a pivotal role in the Oscar-winning documentary The Cove and teaching stars like Tom Cruise for this scene in Mission Impossible.
He was an amazing student. He picks up stuff like that.
But after taking time to raise her daughter, Mandy sold her business and found herself looking for a new career during the pandemic.
It was frightening to try to get back into the job market.
Employers seemed reluctant to hire a 47-year-old without a diploma, until Mandy happened upon a posting for a job that required the sort of skills you can't teach, like stepping up and staying calm during dangerous situations.
They were able to see what I could bring to the table and not dock me for being old.
And after a few years as a 911 police dispatcher, Mandy says it's proving to be just as satisfying as her work under the water.
Freediving, it was opening somebody up to the possibilities of what they can achieve. In this, it was the idea that I could make a significant difference in someone's life by bettering the outcome of a situation.
And whether you're training to be the world's best or striving to make your community safer, Mandy Ray says the key is to dive deep.
If you have a thought and you want to try something, you go full into it and it'll happen.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Courtney.
Incredible.
Wow.
Right, the woman, have you ever tried free diving?
No.
Like to that kind of depth?
Takes a lot of training to get there.
Yeah. You don't want to compete against her for like hold your breath content.
Anything at all.
Because she'll beat you.
Definitely. That's amazing. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight. A bit of overcast, guys, above the Okanagan Rail Trail along Kalamalka Lake. Thanks, Kelly, for sending this beautiful photo in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well, so email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca. That's such a great little bike ride.
Stunning. I've heard about this rail trail.
So great.
You've been on it?
I sure have.
You have to check it out one day. All right, thanks for joining us. Lauren's back tonight at 11:30.
Good night.